Om Gyantimidandasya Gyananjanachalakaya Chakshurun Bilitham Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hari Priye Pranamami Hari Priye Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm very grateful to be with you this evening on this wonderful event where we are coming together to offer our love, our prayers, our congratulations and blessings to Hemal and Rinal on the occasion of their marriage. Marriage is, throughout history, considered something very sacred among all the great religions of the world. And the functions of marriage, although joyful, are really meant to invoke blessings upon the couple. Because the marriage ceremony lasts maybe one or a few days, but living together is a lifetime commitment that takes a tremendous amount of responsibility and requires a lot of blessings, especially in this day and age, in a place like London. In our Vedic history, we find the Supreme Lord descends into this world as Ram and Sita to actually teach us how we should live by their example. We cannot imitate, but to follow the principles that they have taught us. In Mithila, Ram and Sita were married. Of course, Ram had to break the bow of Shiva to do it, so we don't have to do that. But they took their vows of marriage with the blessings of the Brahmins and the saints. And later, many of you know the story, Ram was exiled to the forest for 14 years. And the morning he was leaving, he had trusted his wife Sita to the care of his own mother and father, Dasarath and Kausalya. Sita insisted, "I will go with you." Ram insisted, "That is impossible. You cannot come with me." And he explained the reasons. He told Sita, "You have been born a princess in a magnificent palace, protected by armies, sleeping in soft silken beds, and eating the finest foods. In the forest, you will sleep on the hard, cold ground, or at the best, a bed of dry leaves. Under the sky, subjected to freezing winters, burning summers, tigers, wild elephants, snakes, scorpions, mosquitoes everywhere, rakshasas, man-eating asuras. And your only food will be the herbs we can dig up from the ground. No, it is not possible. You cannot come." She presented her arguments and he countered every argument. And finally Sita said, "On the day of our marriage, when my father entrusted me to you, he made a vow that in good times and in hard times I would be with you. You have no right to make my father a liar. I am coming with you." And Ram smiled and said, "Yes, let us go together." That was Sita. In order to maintain her faithfulness, her chastity, through good times, hard times, whether they were the king and queen or whether they were exiles in the forest, it was all the same. Sita told Ram, to be in hell with you would be heaven, and to be in heaven without you would be hell. Now in India, my experience, I've been there since 43 years now, most men want their wives to be like Sita. But it doesn't work unless the husbands are like Ram. And what was Ram's commitment? When Sita was abducted by Ravana, Ram dedicated his life to search for her. He walked across from Nasik or Panchavati all the way to Rameshwara, Kishkinda Kshetra, searching for Sita. And ultimately, to protect her, He fought an entire world war. That was their commitment to each other. That is the standard, the spirit. In my own life, I've seen it in a small way. Because you know, America, where I was born and raised, it's about a 75% divorce rate within the first 3 years of a marriage, according to federal statistics. When I was about 8 years old, I was sitting watching my mother put mascara on her eyes in the mirror. And she said to me, I'll never forget. Now I'm 63. My mother told me that everyone loves your father and everyone loves me, but we do not love each other anymore. We have decided to separate. Hearing that, it was like the whole world fell out from under me, and I was just falling into an endless abyss of confusion. Thinking of my mother and father separated, all I could do was cry. I couldn't speak a word. When my mother saw me, she started to cry, and she couldn't speak a word. And I ran outside of her room, down the stairs, and out of the house. Should I continue the story? My father came home some hours later. He entered the bedroom, they closed the door. I knew they were going to talk about it. Don't tell him I said this, but I put my ear to the door to listen to what they were saying, because this was a serious thing for me. My mother explained to my father what happened. There was dead silence for several minutes. And then I heard them say, for the sake of the higher principle of our children, we are going to make this work no matter what. They never separated. It was difficult. It was difficult for them. But I witnessed with my eyes perhaps the deepest, most loving relationship between two human beings I've ever seen in my childhood. Because they passed all sorts of tests by keeping the higher principle of the sacredness of their relationship above and beyond all the flickering likes and dislikes of their personalities. And when my mother passed away, they were married 58 years. And they were there for each other totally. You see, love is not just about romance or attraction. Real love comes through dedication, sacrifice, and devotion to each other. And when we understand God in the middle, then our marriage becomes true dharma, bhakti. You see, when Renal, it's not that Hemal is just your husband. He is God's child who has taken responsibility to protect you. And Hemal, it's not that Renal is just your wife. She is Krishna's child, entrusted in your care. How you treat her and how you treat him is how you are serving Krishna. To be emotionally kind to each other, to give physical protection to each other, and to spiritually give an example to each other and inspire each other. That's actually the original purpose of marriage. And if we live in this way, that yes, as I give happiness with a spiritual spirit, with Krishna in the center to my spouse, that is my bhakti, that is my devotion. And when a husband and wife together share this principle, the husband and wife become an empowered team to do great things for the whole world. And perhaps the greatest need in the world today is for couples, husbands and wives, to really unite on this higher principle of devotion to the Lord, to Krishna, for this higher purpose. Srila Prabhupada, my Gurudev, once told a story of the secret formula to make a marriage work. Could I tell you? He cited the life of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi and his wife had a fight, and they got really mad at each other. And Mahatma Gandhi kicked his wife out of the house. He said, "Out from here." Now, when I heard this, I actually read the lecture and heard it on a tape. I was quite fascinated, because Mahatma Gandhi is he's the guru of peace. The Nobel Peace Laureates, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, they were all followers of Gandhi. And here is the great example of peace, fighting with his wife. That's the way marriage is, whoever you are. I think most of you have more experience than me. But in my experience, marriage couples come to me a lot with problems. And every time they think this is such a unique problem between the two of us. And almost every time, it's the same problem everybody else has. But anyways, Mahatma Gandhi came out sometime later and saw his wife sitting on the roadside. And he said, "Why are you still here?" And she said, "I have nowhere to go." And he smiled and said, "Forget it, just come in." And my Gurudev said, Prabhupada said, "This is the secret, forget it." Whatever disputes, whatever differences are there between us are not important. The only thing important is we have a sacred vow together to inspire, encourage, love, and protect each other on behalf of God. That is the higher principle. That is important. Everything else could be forgotten or adjusted accordingly. Then the relationship of marriage becomes the very pathway to spiritual perfection and a great example for the whole world to follow. On this very sacred occasion, I request everybody here to offer a silent prayer for our beloved Lord, Shri Radha Gokulananda, or whoever you worship, to shower their blessings upon Renal and Hemal, that they can bring great happiness to each other and to the world through their shared devotion. And let us express this prayer by invoking blessings upon them, by raising our arms very high and loudly chanting together the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Much louder, please. They need more blessings. 10 million times louder, please. One more. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Thank you very much.